So welcome back in continuation with growth and development of industry. And what better than small scale industries? Yes, we'll be talking about small scale industries. Since it was in 1955 that the Carvey Committee came up and told us that how important they were for employment generation, then for equitable distribution of income and wealth. And another thing was that they could be quickly started. It was not, they were capital light and they were easy. The second bow to the um, second thread to the bow, that's what. Okay, so here we go. Small scale, you can just see for yourself and how they have been protected. So here we go. Can you see that? So difficult holding it. Yes. So development of small scale industries, a policy instrument, it was to promote the goals of employment and equity. Okay. So there were two broad dimensions, as I mentioned, that one was the growth of large scale industry. That was one string to the bow, as I pointed out, and the second string to the bow was what? Growth of small scale industry, basically to generate employment opportunities besides social justice. And we are a very rich labor country, so much of people that we people, and so it was good that this sort of a these small scale industries and cottage industries were going to be really good for us. A small scale industry is presently defined as one whose investment does not exceed rupees 5 crores, but initially it was rupees 5 lakhs. So the role of small scale industry in achieving the goals of planning was underlined by the Carvey Committee, also called Village and Small Scale Industries Committee, in 1955. And it was here that they underlined the significance of small scale industries in term of their principal characteristics. So what were they? There were three typical characteristics of small scale industries. So that what was that? That small scale industry was labor intensive and therefore employment friendly. So to produce a given output, small scale industry is expected to use more of labor than capital. And we have what is known as a labor surplus economy. So it was a good way of achieving full employment by focusing on small scale industry. It could be self-employment too, by giving them some skills to work on, or giving them some educating them in those skills. And the second is the small scale industries shows locational flexibility and is therefore could bring equality oriented. That is, large scale industry is often established close to the source of raw material, because transportation from distance place leads to high cost of transportation. Small scale, on the other hand, shows locational flexibility. That means it can be started wherever you feel like, and you take the local skills of the place. For example, if an area is rich in, if the people there are good at making, say, brass commodities, you see to it that such industries are established there. Or some are good at woodwork. Some places are very rich in wood and woodwork, so such industries would come up there. some good in embroidery, so certain industries could come up there, sort of. And another very important thing was that small scale industries need small investment, so it needs small investment, so, and is therefore equity oriented, referring that with much smaller investment it does not lead to concentration of economic power. So it promotes equality amongst the different sections of the society, and it also, equity is further promoted because of greater employment per unit of investment in small scale industries. So that is there. And another thing is that another thing was that it had to be protected. The government thought of protecting its small scale industries, because simply because small scale industries were not expected to compete with large industries. So the production of a number of products were exclusively reserved for these people, for the small scale sector. So that was a good thing. Another thing was that they were given certain concessions in the form of lower taxes and cheaper bank loans, etc. So small scale industries, as you see, were very important, and they were given a lot of importance for the development of the industrial development of India.